Hey, I'm L, and I'm gonna become a web dev. No. Why would I start like that? Sound like an AA meeting. Start over. Scratch that. What's good, everybody? My name's Leroy. As you could see from the YouTube name, you could just call me L. Everyone does. And the reason I'm making this video today is because I'm going to become a web developer, and I wanted to document the process. Now, some of you may already know me or be familiar with me through my Bitcoin and crypto articles, my writing work, my Crypto in the Caribbean show, Twitter, school. There's a bunch of different places you may know me from. But for those that don't know me, I'm super passionate about the Bitcoin and crypto space, and most of the work that I do these days revolves almost 100% around that. So I'm a writer. I work with Kirby Digital Assets Group. You may know them as the Gentlemen of Crypto. And I recently took on a job handling the social media and community management for a crypto company back home in the Bahamas. So I'm definitely deep in my passion. And don't get me wrong, I love the work that I do. I absolutely do. Because it's a lot better than the stuff I was doing before, trust me. But there's still more. I still want to build more. I still want to do more. I want to become more active in different ways in this space. But I don't want to get too deep into the crypto stuff. Let's keep it strictly on the web development and why I'm here, what brought me here, and where I plan on going with it. So let's just take it back to the beginning. 2016, I'm fresh out of college. I'm graduated with a bachelor's in Hispanic studies. I was technically pre-med, but let's not talk about that. And I'm just working different jobs, trying to get a feel for what it is that I actually want to do, where I'm going to go with my life, how am I going to build and develop off of this kind of useless degree. So 2017 comes around, I started working at a credit union. And this is around the same time that I had started getting into the Bitcoin and crypto space. So I was kind of double dipping in a sense. I'm working at the bank, credit union, and I'm also learning and gaining this interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and this whole space and this new blossoming industry. Fast forward 2 years now. I don't know if y'all can hear that plane. Please ignore that. Fast forward 2 years now. 2019, the beginning of 2019, and I up and relocate for another business opportunity. Now, I had been in the previous state. I won't say where. If you know me, you know where I was and where I'm at. If you don't, you don't need to know. But I relocated pretty far for more, let's call them entrepreneurial pursuits. And that just means I was unemployed and hustling. Working on conventional jobs. I was in real estate and project management for a bit. Hated it. Then I moved on to social media and operations management. Didn't particularly hate it, but it wasn't really the exact fit that I was looking for. But it was a step in the right direction. And in 2020, I decided to do some writing. It wasn't really freelance work. I was just writing about things I was passionate about, which was Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And by the end of the year, some of my articles started to get me noticed. I got on a couple of people's radar, and I got my first gig as an in-house writer for Kirby Digital Assets Group. You may know them as the Gentlemen of Crypto. So this was my first paid gig in a space that I was genuinely 100% passionate about. So then that started to build up some momentum, and I really started to enjoy it. Now, it wasn't enough by itself to sustain me, so I still had to work on the side, or I still had to do additional work aside from this, but it was a step in the right direction. Jump ahead now to 2022, and I started my Crypto in the Caribbean show, where I actually delved deeper into the crypto space with a focus on the Caribbean region, which is where I'm from. So now I'm just building and building and building on top of what is already my existing passion, and trying to find new ways and new avenues to not just expand my brand, but to develop a genuine career, or a career path at least, in this area or in this field. And most recently, I even took on the job for handling the social media and community management for a crypto company back home in the Bahamas. So you hear all this and you say, okay, well, it sounds like you got this stuff together. What you trying to get into web development for? Why you jumping around? You might be spreading yourself too thin, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I hear you, right? But hear me out. From I was young, I've always had a love for just tech in general. Loved it. It started with video games, basic computer stuff, and then I think it was around grade 11, grade 12, we actually learned a bit of programming. Now, it was just basic, a little bit of HTML, a touch of CSS, but Nothing to really say, okay, I could see myself doing this in the future, but it was just a little taste of it and I loved it. But I didn't really see a future for it. I had a set path in my mind that had nothing to do with any of the computer stuff, so I just kind of pushed it to the side. But as I get deeper and deeper into the crypto space, and I see more and more of how the technical side of it really dictates how the space grows and how these things progress, that love and that interest in the technical side, the building blocks, the foundation of these technologies just got sparked again. I don't know what it was. Something just got into me and I just really got interested in web development again. So with all the stuff that I listed before, you probably could already tell I'm normally pretty busy. So I know off the rip, I do not have a lot of time to devote to learning a whole new set of skills and a whole new area of expertise. But I was still interested, so I did a bit of digging. And by digging, I mean I went to YouTube.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
And it was one video in particular, I can't remember exactly what it was, but the video basically was this guy talking about how he became a self-taught developer, how he went through some online courses, he did some work, and within about a year or 2 years, he had actually landed his first actual job as a junior web developer. He showed the resources that he used, all of them free, and he talked about his process and how he went through it and how the difficulty of it is kind of overhyped. So then the YouTube algorithms took over. After that video, I found another video, completely separate channel with another self-taught developer who, along the same lines, said that he was at a dead-end job, he didn't like what he's doing, he was looking for a change in career, a change in his path, and the self-taught developer path kind of sparked his interest. He looked into it, and then in about 6 months, I think, he became a full-fledged web developer, employed, ready to go in the market. So dozens of YouTube videos later, a bunch of Google searches later, a lot of research later, I decided that this, even with a busy schedule, this seems doable. Like, this seems not easy, but definitely doable. And the one thing that actually sparked my real interest in it was the fact that across the board with a lot of these self-taught developers, many of them were in different areas of development. You had some front-end developers, you had some back-end, you obviously had some full stack, you had people who specialized in the graphics side of it, dealing with more CSS stuff. So then I realized that once you get the basics and then you branch off into your specialty or what your focus would be, you could really go anywhere with this stuff, starting from a self-taught base. Now, looking at where I'm at in my Bitcoin and cryptocurrency career and seeing how I started from literally teaching myself and just applying the things that I had learned, it resonated with me that these guys took it upon themselves, did the work themselves, and then became employed themselves. So that was it for me. About 2 weeks ago, I sat down and I said to myself, you are going to become a web developer and you're going to specialize or focus in either Bitcoin or cryptocurrency development. I want to be a builder in this space. That's my end goal. And I know many of you may be asking, why self-taught though? Why don't you just go to school? Why don't you just do some courses online or a boot camp or something along those lines? One, I'm pretty sure I don't have the time for it. And two, if I do have the time for it, I'm not into school. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to do school anymore. I'm over it. I love education. I hate school. I love learning. I hate school. You feel me? So the whole school thing was a no. Next up, there's a lot of boot camps and these quick online stuff that you can pay for and buy, and a 3-week, 4-week course, a 2-month course. And I mean, it sounds good, but at the same time, I saw that a lot of these self-taught developers were using free resources that they found readily available on the internet, which again coincided with exactly how I learned about Bitcoin and how I learned about cryptocurrency. So I'm not gonna pay someone for stuff I could do myself for free. I've already done it. I know that I can do it because I've already done it. So why would I settle? Why would I pay, you know? So after digging around, looking into it, doing some direct comparisons, getting some advice from experts, from people who have done it, from other self-taught developers, I decided that I'm going to be starting with the Odin project and the CS50 program, both of which completely free, very thorough, and all available online. And as far as these videos, I wanted to do these for two main reasons. The first one was, in a sense, some accountability. Once I start releasing these and it's completely out there, if I start messing around or slacking off, then it's going to be evident that it's on me. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it puts some fire under my to make sure that I stay on track and I keep with it, I keep doing the work. And two, I wanted to actually document it to show the progress so I could have something to look back on, so that as I go through the steps, because through these things you feel burnout, you can get tired, you get exhausted, you may get bored, you may lose some motivation. But I feel that, and from what I've found, because other people have done this as well, when you have those progress checks, when you have those established check marks of where you've been, and you can look back at it and directly compare it to where you're at right now, it serves as kind of a motivation, not just for yourself, but also for others. Because I know there are dozens of other people looking to change their career, looking to expand into something new, or maybe they just want to try it out. Maybe they just wanted to give it a feel, see if it's something that they'd like, see if it's something that's even possible. Because there's a lot of these people who talk about this stuff online, but people talk about all kind of stuff online, and it's hard to see what's real and what's not. Take this course and you become a millionaire in about a month. Follow this guideline and you're a real estate expert in about 2 weeks. Buy this guide and I'll guarantee to flip your money 10x in the first 30 days. It's a bunch of hoopla! So I understand the skepticism and I get it. So this is to serve as a proof of concept for someone out there who's looking to get their start in this web development field from absolute zero. Now, I'm not starting from absolute zero, but I'm close enough to zero. I just have some slight programming experience. I mean, I touched on some stuff here and there, but I never actually formally learned this stuff. I never went in depth and understood what was actually going on. I just have the fundamentals. Nothing special. So if I'm not starting from zero, I'm starting from like 2. Let's say 2. But yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. So what I've decided to do is every night I'm going to dedicate at least a minimum of 1 hour towards working through the coursework in the Odin project. At least 1 hour. So I have an ideal and a conservative goal for myself too. So the ideal goal is for me to have this stuff down and actually be employable, possibly even employed, within 6 months. So this being June right now, that would be by the end of 2022. So December 2022, completely finished, well-versed enough to become employed. The conservative goal is to do all of this within a year. So by summer 2023, I would be completely caught up, well-versed enough to be employed. So these videos just gonna be here to track the journey. If you want to support, you like it, hit the like, let me know. Any kind of support is definitely welcome. There are actually 2 people that I'm starting this journey along with, so we have some accountability with each other, which I highly recommend too. Whenever you're going into anything that's new, anything that's relatively difficult, anything that anything that just seems intimidating or possibly overwhelming, just like going to the gym. Working out is stressful when you're doing it by yourself, or it can be stressful. But when you have someone with you, at least one other person, going to the gym with you, putting in them hours with you, then it makes it so much easier. It makes it significantly easier. The same thing applies with learning, and I think the same thing would apply with this development. So, aside from my accountability with those 2, this video is my accountability not just to you guys, but to myself. If you're already a self-taught developer and you've done something along these lines, you walked this path before, tell us about it in the comments. Let me know how your journey was. What was your journey like? How did you get started? What kind of timeline did you look at? How long did it take you before you were employable? What were you doing before? Just let me get a feel for it, because I feel like the more we share about these things, the more acceptable it'll become, and the more people can see that you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be Einstein. You don't have to be a complete genius to become a web developer. But that might just be my beginner talk. We'll see as the videos go along. So, like I said before, if you like it, you want to support, hit that like. If you want to follow the journey, you want to tap in and see any updates as I go along. I should be posting these monthly. Ideally, I would say once a month I would post to show the progress, show some of the projects that I've been working on, some of the trials that I've had, some of the like roadblocks that I hit, the ups and the downs. I'm gonna talk about it all, and hopefully it all fleshes out pretty well. So I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say on it. I guess I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.